I was young, I attended a school where most of my friends and classmates were on scholarships. They were academically outstanding, and most of them were punching well above their year level. I was hugely impressed. I remember thinking, why am I not like them? And what do I need to do to be like them? You could say I was in the grips of my inner critic. You know, the inner voice that's never satisfied with any achievement you make at being successful or perfect. Every time I got my test results back, I was devastated because it was never good enough, never as perfect as the others. And it seemed as if I was being driven by an unseen power to be as perfect as my classmates. But the more I tried, the less I succeeded. I simply wasn't good enough. And all this was taking a toll on my well-being. The fact that I was putting all my efforts into my studies and no results were showing really annoyed me. And my inner critic told me that this was because I wasn't working hard enough. But then I began to think, what is this for? Who is this for? And why am I even doing this? This question, it kept coming to me, but I could never answer it. I realized I was so caught up in meeting the standards of others that I had forgotten who I was. But I just pushed this away. And instead, I'd stay in my room on hours on end trying to cram in facts, and more facts. And I kept reminding myself that unless I achieved the marks that my friends were getting, I simply wasn't good enough. I made sacrifices like not going outside and playing, not spending time with my family and friends, or simply just not enjoying myself. But still, I didn't seem to get ahead. My inner critic was constantly reminding me that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't working hard enough, and that I would never be able to improve. It felt like I was running a race, but my classmates, they were miles ahead of me whilst I was still stuck at the starting line. From then on, grades, they became symbols either representing my worth or lack of worth. But it wasn't just about getting a score anymore. To me, it was about proving something. But I didn't know who I was proving this to. Just didn't make sense. But again, I pushed this away and thought if only I could get that 95% on my test score, then I could feel like I belonged. I was constantly comparing myself to my classmates, always wanting to be like them, if not better than them. And I can still remember how painful and exhausting it was trying to measure out to them until it became beyond my endurance. That night, I lay in bed asking myself, why can't I do it? Why can't I be just like my friends? During this moment of reflection, I heard a knock on my door. My parents came in, they sat on my bed and asked me, what was going on? Why was I studying late into the night, every night, and waking up exhausted due to the lack of sleep? I took a deep breath and had the courage to tell them how I felt. How I felt that I wasn't good enough, and how I wanted so deeply to be like my friends, to be perfect, just like them. My dad then asked me what I thought the definition of perfect was. I thought and said, to be academically outstanding, just like my friends. My dad then looked at me and said, you have more than just academic success, much more than just academic success. The next day, I woke up feeling somewhat different. Dad's advice had meant a great deal to me, and I was able to live with my imperfections. And surprisingly, I also felt a great sense of relief. that I had more than just academic success. Many of you, I'm sure, are well aware of the struggles that J.K. Rowling went through before she published her phenomenal fantasy series, Harry Potter. She'd been rejected by countless publishers, given birth to her first child, and was penniless. In one of her speeches, she referred back to this time and told her listeners to be unafraid of failure. Because failure can teach us a few lessons: that we are more than we think we are, and that we can be perfect just the way we are. Remember, success is not measured by academic achievement, because each and every one of us is more than just the marks on the test sheet. So if there's something I want you to take away from this talk, it's about breaking free from perfection. Let's remind ourselves that each and every one of us is a unique, distinctive individual with our own talents, attributes, and personalities. We all do things in our own pace, have our own paths, and have our own way of learning. We can choose how to learn and grow as individuals so that we can become the best version of ourselves. And that's something worth being proud of.